Welcome to Acts of Awakening, a series of heartfelt conversations about the roles that we play, the masks that we wear, and the archetypes we embody. Acts of Awakening is a play place to unpack the moments in life that call us to change roles and dissolve masks, individuating us into the next version of ourselves. Together, we will explore the perspective of the cosmic play, inspiring soulful insights and a deeper understanding of the journey of becoming. Host Suri Sawyer is a certified death doula, Reiki healer, yoga guide, ancestral medicine practitioner, and multidimensional psychic. As a walking transmission, equal parts cosmic mirror, soul whisperer, and multidimensional midwife, she embodies the energy of a lucid dream. Soft yet activating, grounded yet infinite. Suri weaves shadow and light without fear. Her essence feels like plant medicine incarnate. Her presence initiates recalibration and an invitation into introspection, remembrance, and sacred revolution. Now here's your host, Suri Sawyer.
Good day, beloved people. I see that Brenda's here. Hello, Brenda. And Mend My Shadow. I remember one time stumbling over that handle, but now I think I've got it. It's really nice to see you guys here today. Welcome to the show. We're going to open up by talking about two archetypes from the Jungian theory. There's 12 archetypes in the Jungian theory, but within those 12 archetypes, they split into shadow and light sides. So that makes 24. And then there's an integrated aspect as well. So if you take these 12, they can spider off like a tree into a bunch of different archetypes. And as always, as I read to you these archetypes, you have the option, the opportunity to hear about this archetypical nature and see if it's something that you resonate as something that you experience personally and feels like a strong aspect of you. Likewise, you can identify it as something that you don't present strongly, or who you know in your world who has a strong archetype of this nature. And I'm excited because typically on the show, we have a lot of caregivers, we have a lot of healers, we have a lot of magicians. We do have a magician on our hands, but she actually chose two archetypes that I have never read before. So I'm excited to share them with you today. And I encourage you guys, if you do identify any of these archetypes as something that you play out strongly, give it a name and then tell me what the name of your archetype is. Hello, Kim Princess. Labyrinth Creation, it's always good to see you. Hello, everyone. All right, so here we go. We're reading about the archetype of the hero. So the light side of the hero is devotion and selfless love. The hero is moved by a profound love for others and for humanity. They show up when no one else will, carry burdens that aren't theirs to carry, and give without counting costs. At their best, they model radical compassion, a living reminder that some things are worth suffering for. The shadow is resentment and hidden control. The shadow, sacrifice becomes currency. The martyr aspect of the hero gives and keeps score. They may unconsciously create dependencies or attract those who need saving, or use suffering as a source of identity and worth. Look how much I've given becomes an unspoken refrain, and resentment quietly poisons the love that they offer. Whew. The shadow in that is very strong, but also so is the light aspect. Now, with every archetype, there's a gift that they offer to the world. So the gift that this hero archetype can offer to the world is a vessel of true service, giving freely without needing to be seen, rescued, or repaired. Their gift is showing up for others in their darkest hour, not to fix or control, but to bear witness. And our guest today is a very strong person who holds sacred space and is a great witness to walk through life with. They teach the world what it means. They teach the world what it means to love something more than your own comfort. I give not because it is easy, but because I cannot look away from the suffering. My love is the offering, not the outcome. So that's the hero. All right. Now we're going to go into the magician. I know I said she wasn't. Yes, she's a magician. She's also a wise sage. So I was having a difficult time deciding if I wanted her to go with the wise sage or the magician. Michael Christopher, it's great to have you here. All right, guys. The magician in their light side is transformation and vision. The magician sees what others cannot. They understand the laws beneath the surface, energy, timing, and intuition, and they use this knowledge to catalyze change. They turn wounds into wisdom, lead initiations, and make the invisible visible. The shadow aspect of the magician is manipulation and illusion. In the shadow, the magician uses power to deceive, conjure false realities, exploiting trust, and hoarding sacred knowledge for control. They may lose themselves in the abstraction or confusing insights, and they may use their position of superiority to have power over others. Their gift to the world, however, the magician's gift to the world is initiation, the ability to midwife others through profound change. They hold the container for transformation and illuminate hidden truths and remind humanity that reality is more fluid and alive than it appears. They make the sacred accessible. I see the pattern beneath the surface. I hold the space where the old dissolves and the new becomes possible. So, as always, yes, Kim Princess, meow, baby. As always, if you resonated with any of those archetypes, identify them within yourself, give them a name. And this is the foundation of parts work, getting to know all the different parts of you, the light side and the shadow side, and the gift that you may be here to offer to the world. I feel like a lot of you watching may resonate with the magician. Let me know if that resonated with you. All right, my friends, I'm going to now tell you a little bit about our guest today. And I'd like to start by saying that I'm very thrilled. This is a woman that has been a friend of mine for about 10 years. And it has been so incredible to watch her walk and go through many initiations and individuations. The hero and the magician archetype would not have been the archetypes that she had picked 10 years ago or even 5 years ago. So it's been incredible to watch her become the woman that she is today. And what an incredible honor. Good to see you, Mish. Good day, lady. All right. So here's a little bit about Mary. Mary has been guiding and mentoring women since her early years, first serving in junior high ministry, where she discovered a deep calling to support others in their personal and spiritual growth. While her path inevitably led her beyond the traditional church setting, her work has always remained rooted in a sense of divine guidance and service. Her background as a professional hairdresser has also profoundly shaped her approach to healing and mentorship. She cuts my hair. Do you love it? And let's see. I got distracted. Okay, for years, Mary has created space for women to feel truly seen, heard, and cared for, leaving her chair not only more radiant outwardly, but also uplifted within. Today, Mary brings a diverse range of holistic modalities to her work. She is a 300-hour trained yoga instructor, a Reiki Master who has completed multiple trainings and attunements, and a doctoral candidate in the traditional Chinese medicine and acupuncture. Through these disciplines, she integrates body, mind, and spirit in her approach to healing and transformation. And now I would like to invite to the stage Mary Cady.
Hi.
Welcome, darling.
I'm really excited to be here today.
I'm also thrilled to my bones.
I was getting a little bit emotional watching both your intro and listening to Michael Zinn narrate what you're doing on this podcast. And also I was getting emotional as you were talking about me and reading the archetype of the hero and the magician. So yeah, it's an honor to be here today and be a part of this.
It's an honor to have you. How did you resonate with the descriptions that I wrote up after we spoke?
Oh, yeah. I was getting chills as you were reading them. I think what was really interesting and what really stuck out to me about the hero, which I wasn't expecting, was that it's led by devotion. And I think that's really accurate to my life. So, yeah, I really resonated with it.
As I was writing it up, the aspect of loving someone else or loving humanity more than your own comfort. Being okay to get a little uncomfortable to be able to hold space for the transformational experiences that humans have.
Yeah, that part too really rung true for me.
Hi, Vivian. It's good to see you, darling one. And I appreciated the magician too, in the aspect of, we've spoken about this at different points, but the hoarding of secret information, like being a gatekeeper almost, and creating these separations in the healing arts world, and shifting this sort of elitism away from elitism with this stuff and being like, actually, it should be accessible to everyone, with a healthy discernment about not giving certain sacred tools to people who genuinely are not ready, but then not withholding information because, well, if everybody had this information, then I would be less powerful.
Yeah. And who are we to say who is ready for the information or not? Like, we might judge them that they're not, but if they're coming to us, it's like the saying, when the student is ready, the teacher appears. So if someone's coming to you looking for the knowledge, a lot of the time they might have to go off on their own path, and it might not look like it makes any sense, or what they're doing with the information makes any sense. But I think eventually they'll find their way to where they need to go.
Yeah. As we dive in, something that I think is really fun about Mary's and my relationship is we are like, my interpretation of it is like we're blueprint soul twins. And Mary is naturally blonde headed. And so in our form, we're very, very similar. And her birthday happens to be on September 20th. And my birthday is on March 20th. So on the wheel of birth, I'm the East and she's the West, and we're directly across from each other. And our lives over the last 10 years have paralleled each other in almost creepy ways. And one of the ways that it parallels, you guys, stay tuned. We're about to show you our cats. So I live in Costa Rica. Mary has never met my cats, and Mary got her cats while I lived in Costa Rica. So I had never met her cats. And then I go over to her house one day and I was like, what is actually identical cats? So Kelly Brickle, if you wouldn't mind showing the people our identical cats. Vivian, thank you. And yes, energetic balance. We definitely have an energetic balance going on here. Sometimes, yeah, go ahead.
I always say that we're the two sides of Persephone, and we've both had a Persephone-like experience in our lives,
Hang on, let's come back to that after okay, so these are Mary's cats. That's Callie Ma and Mr. Binks, also known as Mr. Man. Hi, Jennifer Rose. It's so good to have you here.
Hi, Jennifer.
And now we'll go to my cats, which it's hard. Like, her cats are like somehow chunkier than mine. I don't like, I like it. I like it. Arnie, it's good to have you here. Thank you for coming. Two beautiful divine goddesses, she says. I accept, Jennifer Rose.
We love you, Jennifer, and so are you. And Vivian said spiritual twins. Yeah, I joke that we're cosmic twins. Like, we're not from the same family constellation, but like cosmically, we are twins.
And yes, thank you, Kelly Brickle, for doing the photos. And my cats will come up at some point. But while we wait for that, do you want to share the story of Persephone for people?
Oh, there are your babies.
Hi, guys. Oh,
Our cats are
twinning.
natural twins too.
Our cats are natural soul twins as well. Absolutely. Yes. And then the next photo is actually Mary and I was looking at it today. I think it's from 2019.
Mhm.
Um, but just this really long journey we've been on as soul sisters. And the photo, right, Vivian? They're beautiful cats. Okay, Persephone. So, do you want me to start with the spring part since I represent the spring part?
Yeah,
And then you take us into the underworld?
absolutely.
All right. So, the story of Persephone goes that before she became Persephone, her name was Cora, and she was the goddess of spring. So, when she was on earth, her essence created basically springtime all the time. And that was how she existed as Cora. And one day Hades looks at her and was like, oh me, oh my, she is radiant and I must have her. And Zeus made a deal with Hades that if he could trick her into the underworld, that he could have her. So he makes this beautiful flower in the field that's actually like a portal down to the underworld. And she goes over and she like falls into this flower and then she submerges into the underworld. After that, her mother couldn't find her. She was freaking out. She was like, where is she? And then another goddess came along and said, I know exactly where she is. She's in the underworld. Um, and all right, I'll leave it there for you to take it from there.
Yeah, and so because she is the goddess of spring, when she makes her descent down into the underworld, all of the vegetation starts to die. And that is when Earth starts to experience its first fall or autumn. And while she's under there in the underworld, in the beginning, she's pretty afraid, doesn't really know this place, and eventually she falls in love with Hades and she becomes the queen of the underworld. So she goes from being the maiden of spring, the innocent, to the queen and the ruler of both the underworld and our subconscious. But because her mother and everyone on earth is so sad because they don't have vegetation anymore, she decides to eat from the pomegranate, and that way she is able to go up onto earth half of the year and come back into the underworld the other half of the year. And it is said that she is the creator of the seasons.
Yes. And so my birthday technically is the season of Cora. It's the beginning of spring. It's the spring equinox. And then Mary is over there being like, and I shall ferry you into the fall and into the winter, darling. But don't be afraid. I'm a great steward of the underworld.
I'll take you into your subconscious. It's fine. I'll hold your hand.
I'll hold your hand as we dive through.
You're going through a dark
All right.
night.
So this takes us into the dark night of the soul. It's my favorite thing.
Hold your hand.
Let me hold space for this information. Spring will be here soon.
Yep.
All right. So Mary, a big topic that I wanted to bring you on for was your healing journey on healing from autoimmunity. And there we are. Aren't we so cute? Look at that Persephone situation.
It's right there.
Two sides of the same coin.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
Thank you so much, Kelly Brickle, for doing all of that. All right. So Mary, will you share with us a little bit about being diagnosed and the health that you experienced when you were young, like before you started your healing journey? What was your state or condition?
Yeah. So interestingly enough, I actually never got a true diagnosis. But when I was younger, I had a plethora of gut issues, to the point where I would throw up in the morning, dried blood every morning. And my mom would take me to the doctors and they would say, oh, she's fine. She's got the flu. She's fine. There's nothing wrong with her. And eventually I stand corrected. Eventually I got taken to a specialist and they figured out that I had H. pylori, which is a stomach bacteria. And I think that a lot of what I was experiencing was because when we talk about the stomach and we talk about the like esoteric nature of the stomach, is you're not just digesting your food, but you're also digesting the emotions that you're experiencing. You're digesting the experiences that are happening around you. And I think that from a very young age, there was a lot of chaos in my life, and there was a lot of stress and all of these things. And I think from being a small child, I wasn't able to, quote unquote, stomach everything that was happening around me. And so to this day, like my mom and I talk about it, that we're like, why were you the only one who, had stomach issues? If you had a stomach bacteria, why didn't anybody else get it? And I just think that is because I was hyper energetically sensitive. And I think like you, Suri, we're both the youngest in the family. And so being the one that comes the last, you kind of witness everything in front of you. And a lot of the times, I think being the youngest is the one who is actually the trailblazer, the one that kind of goes ahead and goes like, no, like, no more. We're not going to do this. We're going to make changes. So excellent explanation of stomach issues. Thank you. Yeah. I think there's a lot of connection between our neurology and our immune system as well. And I think anytime that we're in a state of fight or flight, then our immune system goes into overdrive. And I think that was a big part of what was playing a role as well, because after I got stomach issues, I had a plethora of autoimmune issues. And I think all of it really came down to my nervous system being overactive. Therefore, my immune system became overactive. So that's a little bit about younger me.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm curious if Mish resonates with anything that you've said, because Mish said that she's also the youngest. Yes, the youngest child often carries family stress, says Vivian. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Birth order plays such a big role in our mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual health. And if we play by the rules, or if we look at the perspective that we choose everything before we come here, it's a choice to be the oldest. It's a choice to be in the middle. It's a choice to be on the tail end. And as Mary was saying, I feel like being the youngest and witnessing everything that was occurring in front of me. I also got an autoimmune disorder I got diagnosed when I was 12 with rheumatoid arthritis. What a strange disease for a 12-year-old to get, right? It seems like an old person's disease. But I got it because my whole body was puffing up and inflamed. I also had an overgrowth of candida, but I didn't know or understand that at the time. I now understand that I had like really out of balance stomach flora, which I also feel had a lot to do with the high rheumatoids, as well as with the puffiness that I was experiencing in my joints. And as I went through the process of getting well, one of the first things that I needed to address was my own boundaries, my energetic boundaries, because to a degree, I felt a little bit like a sponge when I was young. And I had this way of operating, of attempting to like keep the peace and not even have needs. I just like, as long as it's like calm in here, I think I'll be okay. But my way of doing that was by absorbing what was going on and then metabolizing, like you were saying, digesting the mental and emotional framework of the family constellation that brought me to a point of my body also starting to become out of balance. So I really resonate with everything that you're saying. And I'm curious if any of the listeners can resonate with, in your youth, being in an environment that you can't change, but somehow you attempt to, and your physical body takes the tolls. Our bodies do have an amazing capacity to heal themselves, absolutely. And I'm happy to say, after changing some lifestyle habits, as well as addressing mental and emotional aspects of it, I don't have arthritis. Isn't that funny? Like the last time I had blood work, they were like, you don't have an autoimmune disorder. And I was like, oh, isn't that funny? Oh, they say they can't go away, but I'm living proof that they do. So will you share a little bit about more about the connection of mental, emotional, spiritual into the physical manifestation?
Yeah. Well, and I love what you said about boundaries as well, because another layer to the stomach issues that I was having was leaky gut. And I think that we have so many things in common in that the permeability was affected. And I think that at some point, if we decide that we want to heal, we can. The only thing that we have to do is change the environment that created the illness. And so for me, there was a lot of changing the things that I ate, because I think I would use food as a way to fill the void. I felt, we talked about archetypes in the beginning, and even though I feel like in this current moment that I resonate with the hero, like you said, 5 years ago, 10 years ago, I would not have resonated with that archetype. I would have felt like more aligned with the orphan. And I think a lot of the times, in order to get through those depressive feelings or feeling alone or isolated, I would just eat and eat and eat and eat. And I was trying to fill an emotional void, and I was trying to fill a spiritual void, and it wasn't working. So one thing that was also really interesting about my journey in healing was because I had gone to so many doctors and so many specialists. I had food allergies, I had anxiety, depression, I had all of these other things, and I had all of these different specialists, but none of my doctors were talking to each other to realize, like, oh, there's a common thread, and that thread is leaky gut. And so eventually I was 23 years old, and I'll never forget, I was at a friend's birthday, and we spent the day at the beach, and I got a sunburn so bad that it started turning into sun sickness. And I remember thinking, like, am I turning into Bubble Girl? Like, what is happening? What is going on? Like, I don't want to live like this. And I made the choice, and I called out to God, and I was like, Creator, like, please, Spirit, like, I can't live like this. I don't want to live like this. If there's an answer, please help me find the way. And so I went on Facebook and I made a post, and I was like, hey, like, I have been chronically ill my whole life. I've gone to doctors. They've never been able to help. Has anybody found like an alternative route? And I didn't even know there was alternative routes. I was just kind of shooting my shot and hoping for the best. And it was actually my brother's high school girlfriend who reached out to me, and she was like, hey, like, I know this sounds really weird, but there's this woman who runs this machine, and you put these headphones on, and the machine scans your body. It uses frequency technology, and it will tell you exactly what's going on with your body. And so I was like, all right, like, if this is a route that I can take, like, I will try anything at this point. And so I met up with her, and it was the most insane experience, because she's like, oh, you have a lot of stress in your body. She's like, do you want to see what thoughts are stressing your body out?
Wow.
And yeah. And on the screen in front of me, it was reading the thoughts in my head. And it was talking about, fear of dying and fear of death and all of these things that were, that I was dealing with at the time, because I was so sick. And I really was afraid that I was going to live like that forever. And so it was in that moment where I was like, yeah, you can't make this up. And so from that point, she gave me kind of a protocol. And so I changed the way I ate. I started taking supplements. And then within 90 days, I lost 60 pounds. I got rid of food allergies. I got rid of anxiety and depression. And that was really just the first layer of the onion, because after that, I feel like my soul, it was kind of all happening at once, really. My soul was experiencing a mind, body, and spirit healing, because as my body was healing, I started going to yoga. I found Surrey, and I started experiencing what Reiki medicine was like. And we started going into the subconscious and my family constellation. And it felt like I was taking out bricks in this backpack that I had been carrying. And I was just pulling things out and lightening my energy body and my spirit and my heart and my soul. So all at the same time. And I really think that that is the most pivotal thing towards our healing, is to be able to address all three of those aspects.
Absolutely. And it's amazing to witness how if you start to work on the body, it automatically triggers the responses in the mental, spiritual, and emotional bodies. Likewise, you go in and you target the emotional body and you're working there, you're going to see the physical results of that as well. So it's multiple approaches to the same thing, right? And if you're aware of it too. So like I started to focus on my body, that lightened my emotional load, which lightened my mental load, which opened up my spiritual gifts. It's amazing to witness. Would you consider the health struggles to be something that was maybe, again, in the blueprint of you designed this whole thing? Is it possible that the illness was put there so that you could catalyze an awakening?
I 100% think so. I don't think that I would be where I'm at today if I hadn't transmuted the health issues that I had undergone. And it really has changed the trajectory of my entire life, because for the last 12 years I've been doing hair, but I've known ever since that experience that I wanted to get into functional medicine and wellness, and I just didn't know what route to take. And I think that, in order to become the hero, we have to face darkness a lot of the times. And it's not something to be afraid of. It's something to take the call to become who you're meant to be. Like, Harry Potter wouldn't be Harry Potter without Voldemort if he hadn't had to come up against the darkest of evils and the biggest villain of all. I think that my experience was definitely so that I could find my way to acupuncture school, find my way to Reiki and yoga and all of these things, so that I can hopefully help other people.
And I find in life that having a personal experience of something almost always makes you more equipped to help other people through that process as well. So having to go through the process of essentially revamping your entire gut, that's a lot of work, right? That is no easy task at all. If anyone here has ever done something like that, like revamped their gut health, it takes devotion, dedication. Like that's what creates a hero, like I know I really want to go back and eat the things that would make me feel comfortable, but I'm on a mission right now and I'm staying focused and I'm stabilizing my gut biome. And so I find it incredibly beautiful that you've now found yourself in medical school, Chinese medicine, to literally take that knowledge to the next level of being able to support other people through their wellness journeys and their initiations with great understanding, because it's been an experience of yours.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah. You want to share a little bit about your journey as well through the autoimmune?
I do. I also wanted to say, somebody said that they were resonating. Allison says she's resonating with this 100%. Vivian also said to you, Mary, great job.
Oh, thank you.
Great job. Vivian also said strong mind-body connection. And then there's some conversation. I'm not able to get to all of it right now, but Evelyn, we love you. I feel like that's what I need to say in this moment. Okay. And Evelyn, to all that you've been through, we're all so glad you're here. I'd love to know what that medicine machine was. I was going to ask her, Mish, what was the medicine machine that you used? Is it
It's similar to a Rife machine, but it's not a Rife machine, because a Rife machine just emits frequency. This machine goes in and it scans your body, and then it also sends frequency healing. And that's another like interesting thing is I've been trying to find this machine for the last like 10 years. And it's not until recently that I found someone who was practicing with one. So once I'm done with school, I'm going to go through the training. But it's called, I don't even know what it's called. They're by certain companies, and, you know, certain people don't want that information out into the world. And so it's kind of very, yeah, it's very, very under lock and key. But if I can remember the name of the company, I think it was like Stegasis or something like that. I'll have to get back to you. I'll find the packet and I'll write it in the comments later.
Yeah, Mish, we'll see if we can get that information to you, my love. And pretty soon, Mary will be practicing. So if you guys are ever in the Southern California area and you want to take a ride on the machine, I'm sure she'd be happy to take you for a ride.
I would love that.
So for me, I struggled with like inflammation and autoimmunity, and I would say like being like puffy and kind of heavy all of my childhood and life. And I had no idea about diet, exercise, any of these things. And it wasn't until I was in my early 20s that I started to realize the correlation between food and my health, my mental state and my health, my emotional state and my health. One of the biggest things that I addressed that made a massive shift in my physical, mental, emotional, and spiritual health was addressing victim mentality in myself. I remember I went to this lady who was a healer, and I'm telling her a story about something that happened that day. And she looked me in the eyes and she goes, "Stop being a victim." And I was like, "But so-and-so did such and such to me." She goes, "I don't care. Stop being a victim." And then I was like, "But this happened." And she's like, "I don't care. Stop being a victim." And she did that to me enough times that there was nothing that I could rebuttal with anymore. And something in me like clicked where I was like, "Oh my God, I don't know what this frequency is, but I've been playing in this weird, sticky, victimy mentality, kind of feeling like everything is happening to me and almost inviting the world to victimize me because I get some kind of weird, sick pleasure out of that." Read Existential Kink if you're curious about that. But yeah, there was some weird relationship with like this sticky victim mentality that I could see also being something that was really thick in my ancestral lines. And so addressing that frequency was huge. And that was a big part of the attachment to the inflammation and even the candida in my body, the overgrowth of candida. Please. Okay. You have pain in your ear. We might be able to look at that in a little bit. So addressing that victim mentality, which to some degree, I want to say it's really close to covert narcissism. So the covert narcissistic one, or the traits that go with that. And I want a disclaimer by saying using the word narcissist, it's a trigger word. I totally understand. And I don't really like it that much either, but it's the quickest way to pull from the collective mind a certain collection of personality traits. And with that being said, these personality traits are generally developed as self-preservation tactics. But when they go unchecked, they start to become harmful, especially the older that you get, if you're not checking in with what mechanisms have I put in place in my own personality to keep my most precious parts safe. So for example, I had this relationship with being sick. Like I got the kind of attention and love that I was craving if I wasn't feeling well. So then I'd be like, oh, my system started to be like, well, if you're sick, you're going to get a lot of attention. And not consciously thinking that, but as I got older, I realized that I was having that relationship with, oh, if I'm struggling, people will come and help me. And I want that attention. I need that love. Or if I'm sick, oh, people will come and take care of me and I'll get held the way that I want to be held. But if I'm doing well, I'm not getting the kind of attention that I want. So I developed at a really early age, well, if I'm struggling, then someone will come and get me, right? And my illness was heavily attached to that aspect of myself. And I was able to navigate my way through it. Of course, it was onion layer process. Just when you think you're out of victim mentality, the world is like, are you sure? And they bring you another thing. And from, I would say like 19 until 27, I was in remission from autoimmunity. Um, but then I was married, and every day for a couple of years, I thought, I need to go. And I can't explain why, but something about this isn't right. It doesn't feel right. There's something in my body that doesn't feel right. My intuition is screaming at me, but I was so afraid to change. I was so afraid to ruin my life that I struggled and suffered in that dynamic. And I started to develop pustular psoriasis on my feet to such a degree that I had no skin on the soles of both of my feet or my heels. And it got to a point where I could not even walk anymore. And I would still go to work and I would work, but I would walk around on my tippy toes. I would come home and I would lay on the couch and put my feet up because they were burning. And I knew that there was a correlation between my inner dialogue screaming that it was craving something different, but my refusal to listen. Long story short, I did end up leaving that relationship. And then within a couple of months, my skin condition totally cleared. And it's been almost 9 years that I've been in remission from it. Hi, Kalima.
Of the fur babies. She's like, wait, I know that voice. Gotta come say hi.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, self-preservation disguised as goodness, and they can't untangle the deeper meaning. Yeah, very true. People protect themselves all the time, off past and keep up the old patterns. Yes, labyrinth of creation. Society often treats you as a victim, especially if you are given a medical diagnosis. Yes. Thank you guys so much for these comments. It's really nice to hear what you guys have to say. I have osteoarthritis, chronic pain, also leaky valve. I'm taking lots of natural supplements. Yes, gut is very important, and I 100% agree. Allison, if you're ever interested in some emotional release in conjunction with some of the things that you're doing, both Mary and I are very good at that. And because of our past experiences with autoimmunity and inflammation, we're both very well equipped to support. So if that's something that you'd be interested in, please reach out to either one of us. Bless you, Surrey Sawyer. Lots of love and big hugs. Thank you, Allison. Okay, so that's my story. But you also had a similar thing because you were in remission for a long time. And then, like, for lack of a better way of saying it, you relapsed. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. Well, before I share about that, I just want to note on the fact that, yeah, you have been such a pivotal person in my healing journey. And I want to say thank you to that for holding space for me and bearing witness to all of the pain in my heart and my soul and all of the things that have happened in my family constellation. So yeah, if you guys are seeking emotional release, Surrey is an amazing person to go to for that. She really cares about you and your best interest and can hold space for that. And I also wanted to touch base on what you said. For both of the experiences you were going through, it was an experience of powerlessness, and how fascinating that is that, once you were able to call your power back is when your body was able to heal. Someone said, medical school doesn't teach students to make a connection between the mind and body. Please don't let the healthcare providers tell you that you're hopelessly ill. Yeah, I 100% agree with that.
Thanks,
think that
Vivian.
you're so on point, Vivian. I think that it's not up to anybody outside of us. I think it's up to our soul. And if our soul decides that we're going to heal or that we're going to go through an illness and transmute it, then we will. We just have to have the mindset and take action and take steps every single day towards that. But yeah, just like you, life is kind of like a spiral, and we continue to come back to themes. And if we haven't fully mastered it the first time, we will be given another experience. And so I will say I've been in remission for, probably about 8 years now. And I just went through my Saturn return, and I just graduated, and I'll never forget one of my dear friends who is an amazing astrologer. She told me at the beginning of my Saturn return, she was like, this is going to be like the best of times and the worst of times for you. And she was so right about that. Throughout these, last 2.5 years, almost 3 years, it really has been like everything has come to warp speed. I finally felt the courage to, present myself as a healer. I finally, hosted a Reiki circle at a yoga studio, and I started to really put myself out there. I was teaching yoga and restorative Reiki classes and yin yoga. And throughout that journey, I had a lot of people in the spiritual community who I thought were like-minded people, were actually people who wanted to take from me. And I, like you, I felt like very powerless in the situations where people were coming to me and all they really wanted was to take from me. And I thought that being a good healer was to be the martyr. It was like, oh, okay, like, I'll just grin and bear it. I'll just grin and bear it. Like, right. Be the better person, just continue to be light. And, I had someone that I was working with, take the Reiki manual that I had spent 3 months working on and started attuning people with it. And I had asked for, hey, like, if that's fine, if you're going to do that, but, can you at least, give me a reimbursement for the time and work that I've done? And I took it to the yoga.
Hold on, did you see what Vivian said? She said, please have confidence in your healing abilities.
Oh, thank you.
Thanks, Vivian.
Thank you, Vivian. Yeah, it took me a long time to get there. And I think the other part of that, I think there was a part of me that knew what a responsibility it is. Once you step into this role, you have to hold yourself to a certain level. And I think that's something that I got confused at this time, was if I'm able to just be love and light to everybody, that's holding myself up to this level. But to what Suri was saying earlier, it's like, being in your power and having boundaries is actually holding yourself to the highest level. Because if you take care of you and if you make sure you're good, then you can give, but you cannot give from an empty cup. And I think I was trying to just outpour love and outpour love and outpour love. And I had many experiences like that where people were wanting to like buddy up and do women's circles with me and get really close to me and kind of learn all my secrets, like you had said earlier in the beginning of this video. And I was just giving away gold, to everybody. And I also went through an experience where I was in a, romantic partnership with someone who was chronically ill. And I thought, oh, if I just, show them what it's like, what I went through, then they'll heal. And because of all of that, some of that autoimmune stuff came back. So Candida is back currently, and I'm on a protocol and a cleanse. And I've also been going through really deep subconscious work because, I think I've never really expressed this, but I was also, after going through the healing journey, I got really excited about plant medicine. And I will say that plant medicine has been also very, very healing in my life, but it also became a bit of a crutch. And I was smoking cannabis every day for a long time. And I've recently given that up. And since giving that up, I've come to realize there was a lot of things that I was still numbing. There was a lot of things under the surface that I had kind of dealt with, but I hadn't gotten to the full root of it. And so for the last 3 months, I've been doing angry journaling and writing angry letters and burning them and just really fully finally getting to the root of it. And I will say too, with having gone through my Saturn return and it being the best of times and the worst of times, I've healed my relationship with my mom since. And so I've been doing really deep ancestral subconscious work in the last 3 months where I feel like I'm hoping that this will be the last time that I go into remission and that it sticks. And I think that I'm also at a place where I'm able to go, yeah, I'm no longer giving my power away. Like, these are the things that I need, this baseline, in order for me to be happy and healthy and to be able to show up for others. So, yeah.
Thank you so much for that in-depth explanation. And it is for myself, what I experienced in having an autoimmune disorder and then healing from it and noticing the trends of mental, emotional, physical, and spiritual patterns that I was playing out, and then feeling like I was pretty free from them. But like you said, it's a spiral, and getting to a point where you're like, oh, hello, old friend, we meet again. Like, but
You
this
still
time,
there?
yeah, but this time it's the same energy, but a different person or a different storyline. Like, the storyline looks different, but all the stuff coming up in me is the same. So it's a different level of meeting the same content. And the second time, do you feel like it was easier? You understood what was happening more quickly?
Oh, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. We have about 10 minutes, so I want to address some of the comments. And then I was wondering if you have your cards and you want to do a
Oh,
collective
grab
reading.
one really quick. I
Yeah,
totally.
you do that while I address some of our lovely listeners. So let's see, I saw back here, Dolores. Hi, Dolores, my darling. So dealing with edema and lymphedema for years, and the doc wants to collapse your veins and do the socks. You feel like there's something with your gut, colon, and kidneys. So Mary and I are definitely not doctors, so definitely trust the path that you're on. And I always recommend that people look into parasite cleansing and organ cleansing when you're having complex medical issues. It is often heavily gut related and related to the gut biome. And in Ayurveda or Chinese medicine, there's this perspective that really all illnesses do start in the gut, with things that are fermenting in there or not processing well, or leaky gut. And then the toxins build up and they tend to go to the weakest part of the body.
Mhm.
And what's weak in your body is dependent on who you are. It could be because of family history of medical things. It could be because, you hit a certain organ against something. Like, there could be a number of reasons. Maybe you have an elbow that has been through some stuff, and now the toxins tend to go to the elbow and create inflammation. So if you're open to doing some kind of cleansing, I know Mary is a really good guide for something like that. And maybe it's one of us, or maybe it's a different kind of cleanse. But I recommend to everyone watching and listening, cleansing is really important. And so is eating well to create health and wellness for the gut lining. And this is through bone broths, magnesium, certain kinds of teas, but getting to address the internal organs and flushing it out. So please reach out if you would like any support with cleansing the body.
Yeah. So, when I did work under a doctor for 5 years, one thing that I learned in working in the clinic was anything that has to do with edema and lymphedema is because your detox pathways are not open. So yes, it would be kidneys, it would be liver. So those are kind of the organs that you would want to address. And if you want further help, go ahead and reach out, message me. There's some supplements and products that I can kind of steer you towards that will help open up those pathways.
Absolutely. I also, Vivian, you're always doing the most on here. I feel so celebrated by you every time you're on here. But Vivian says, you will heal. I don't know where did it go? She was celebrating you. She was like, you will heal. Oh, there we go. You will heal. We're deeply loved. We all are a work in progress. Vivian, thanks for cheerleading us on all the time, baby. Labyrinth Creation says we are powerful. Evelyn says, bravo. So if you're not totally healed yet, at least you're back on track. You're an inspiration. Thanks for sharing your vulnerability with us, says Evelyn. And then Benno says, I need to detox. Hi, Mish. I started making Oregonite 8 or 9 years ago and had a small business. However, I'd gift a lot. Found some people would shun me after. I'm realizing now I've given my power away. Thank you. Hey, Mish, if we can help you see that and then you get to take your power back. Whoo! Amen. Amen. All right. So now let us go. Mary is going to offer to us a collective reading for specifically. Well, do you want to talk about the intention behind the collective reading?
Well, I think it's already proven that a lot of people in the comments are also dealing with autoimmune things and bodily issues and emotional issues. And so our kind of prayer before starting this was, we hope that, people who are dealing with those issues could see that. So, yeah, our intention is around helping those who are struggling with their healing journey and wanting to find a way to heal.
Hey, just answer Dolores really quick. Dolores, you can find me at surreysawyer.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Surrey Sawyer. And there it is, surreysawyer.com. So Dolores, if you reach out to me, I can also then put you in contact with Mary and we can tag team your well-being. What fun. All right, Mary, sorry, take it away.
Well, I couldn't tell which deck to pull between, so I thought I would let you decide which deck we would pull from.
Can we do one from each?
One from each? Yeah, okay, so we'll do angels and ancestors first. These are both oracle cards. This one's a little bit more like oracle meets traditional tarot. And I like angels and ancestors because a lot of what we deal with our physical body does play a role in what our ancestral line has been dealing with. And sometimes we're the ones to come and change it. So cheers to all of the trailblazers and all the ones who are creating a new path. May you strengthen and fortify your mind, body, and spirit. Okay. And then maybe after I pull, will you give a little channeled message for those who are going through the fortifying path?
Absolutely. Thanks for asking.
Okay. You can't make this stuff up.
You can't and you shouldn't. Oh, hello, Medicine Guardian. Wow. What does the Medicine Guardian have to say to us today?
The Medicine Guardian. And I love it. He's got the
Caduceus
in his hand, and green for healing. And it says, be open to healing information. All right. All right, Medicine Guardian. Uh-oh. Hang on, please. I thought it was in alphabetical order. It is not. 108.
All right, 108, Medicine Guardian then.
Okay, so the message is, listen to what is coming up within you and what is being shared with you by trustworthy others in your life. Pay attention to healing information. Healing angels can help you heal emotionally, spiritually, and physically with their energy, but they can also direct you towards information that will help you return to wholeness. When this card appears, information is being revealed that can help heal an aspect of your current situation. Whether that be your health, relationships, or even career, so be alert for this. The Medicine Guardian has a Caduceus healing wand, which represents the capacity to heal with the power of will and desire, and a chalice, which represents returning to a state of wholeness, a state where your cup is no longer full but overflowing with goodness. The emerald color of the card represents the healing rays of Archangel Raphael and his healing angels. Extended message. You are being exposed to information and insights that will have a dramatic healing effect upon your life. If you are working through something mentally or emotionally, know that there are spirit energies supporting your healing. If you are working through something that is physically challenging, pay particular attention to information that's coming to you that feels inspired, insightful, and warm. It will be supportive of your wellness. Your angels are here to remind you that your natural state is one of wholeness, and you are on the road to revealing that wholeness once more. That was a good one.
It was a really good one. Spectacular, in fact. You can't make this stuff up. This is too good.
Okay, and then we'll do one from the Tree of Life. I figured that was a good one because your entire podcast is around archetypes, and this one is very big on archetypes. So let me just shuffle, give another little prayer for the collective. May this be for the highest and best good of all who are listening, those who are on their own path of healing.
Mish, now I really want to know about this hat that you're talking about. There's some comments about a hat. Sounds like a really cool hat.
A mushroom hat in her picture.
Oh
She's
my
wearing
God.
a mushroom hat.
Girl, Mish, that's a great hat. I see it now. Let me know where you left it. I might go buy it for myself. They sell them at Spotlight. Hint, hint. Thanks, Mish. What is this one?
So this one says Malkuth, which means kingdom, earth manifestation, being here and now.
Mm-hmm.
And like, I love the picture. She's like an earth goddess, obviously, and she's got a phoenix over here and some birds. It almost kind of reminds me of Persephone a little bit with like, you know, all the different realms. And let's look and see what this one means. Because I'm a fun guy, but I'm a chick.
I'm just reading the comments, and they're so great right now. Benno and Mish are just doing the most right now. And yes, Mish, you are a fun guy. You're a fun guy chick.
I love that we're ending with laughter because I also think that laughter is one of the best medicines. So thank you guys for being a part of everything today.
And there was also we Smurfs must take over the world. It's so good.
The world would be a better place if the Smurfs took over. Let's be real.
I think it'd be a really pleasant place. Okay, Mary, go ahead and read for us, my love.
Okay. The 10th Sephira on the Tree of Life is where you meet Earth and all the hardworking elements, those magical energies that are building blocks of our world, the sleeps of air, salamanders of fire, undines of water, and gnomes of earth. You are reminded you are a part of this world, not apart from it.
Wait, does it really say gnomes of earth and we're talking about Smurfs? Okay. Continue.
You can't make this stuff up.
It's so good.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Features: Malka, goddess of earth, the bride of Kepher, the below of the above. She is all the elements, all the elementals, all that feeds your senses in the world. I also love this because you talk about the elementals a lot.
Mm-hmm.
You're being asked to look around you, to think about the earth you live on and how she nurtures you, how you take care of her. Much is made of higher realms, and they are beautiful, but can you eat, drink, or paddle in the river on other planes of existence? What would you miss? What will you miss about being here on earth? Do more of it, for one day you'll be without it. You're also being asked to consider what you have asked Malka to deliver you, what practices you have in place to be clear about your manifestations. As both the end and the beginning of the tree of life, she asks if you have married your own above with your own below. Perhaps you feel as if you're not living fully. Offer her a commitment to make a change that brings your senses alive. In doing so, you will activate her gifts and begin to sense more of a reason for joy.
Mhm.
Activate. Make little adjustments. Change habits. Include tiny rituals in your day, and know that from small acorns, mighty oaks grow. The day-to-day is where great things come from. Build space in your day, week, month to be in nature.
Mhm. All right, I'm going to make my channeling quite quick. I was pulling in information while you were reading, and one of the first things that came up for anyone who might be struggling with feeling less than well, self-compassion. Sometimes it's easy to start to get into when our physical body isn't doing what we want it to do and we're not feeling well, it's easy to fall into depressive thoughts, and start to feel really low and then unmotivated, and it becomes more and more challenging to begin to change habits. But what if the first habit that you changed was just the way you were viewing yourself and practicing self-compassion? Wow, what I'm going through right now is actually very challenging. And seeing yourself as someone who is experiencing something that is challenging, and bring compassion forward about what limitations you're actually facing, what you're capable of currently and what you're not capable of, and allowing for self-compassion. It's one of the quickest loopholes through. And then the second thing is balancing. I love the term right relation with all things. Oftentimes, when we're experiencing illness and we're struggling to maybe change habits, or we don't even know what habits to change, to simply have the meditation and mantra throughout the day, may I have right relation with all things. May I have right relation with my body. May I have right relation with food. May I have right relation with water and hydration. May I have right relation with my gut biome. May all the little biomes in my gut have right relation with each other. And as we are moving through, okay, what is right relation? You know, as you were mentioning earlier, the concept of overeating to try to compensate for something that felt like a void within, it took the relationship with food out of right relation and into an unhealthy relation, right? Similarly, when you were talking about the relationship with marijuana, out of right relation and into an out of balance relation. So if we can move through the world and think, okay, just for today, I'm going to practice right relation with food. Just for today, I'm going to practice right relation with healthy movement in my life. Just for today, I'm going to practice right relation with water, and so on and so forth. And not making it something that's this big, long thing that you have to accomplish. Yes, eventually it'll be a Mount Everest, but how do you climb Mount Everest? It's one step at a time. So it's one day at a time. It's one step at a time. So identify what might be out of balance in your relationship with maybe other people, with yourself, with food, with water, with substances. And then just for right now, just for this hour, I'm going to have right relation with whatever the thing might be. So that is my, yes, it's harmony, Evelyn. That's my reading for today. And out of respect for everyone's time, Mary and I will sign off now. Mwah! May you be safe. May you be happy. May you be well. May you be loved. And have a beautiful afternoon until 2 weeks from now, everyone.